What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, but today we are back. The first episode of the PreGame Battle Birds podcast, and hopefully we are talking about some good stuff following this game. But I am very excited. Had a lot of stuff I had to get taken care of this morning. But how you guys feeling? Gate, fresh?
What's good,
Oh, that's
everybody? Yeah, man. Finally, man. Finally, football Sunday, dude. I mean, after that long period of time where you got to wait from like February all the way in here to September, man. Like, you're trying to come up with things to do to keep yourself preoccupied. Hey, football Sunday, man. I'm excited, guys.
you that man. You know what it is. You know what it is, man. Your boy Philly Fresh, kind of down right now, but the show don't stop. The show must continue. Let's get it.
Yeah. So we all had somewhat of a preview, the do's and don'ts, the preview from Gay and mine. I did a little earlier because, like I said, Football Friday, I was just chomping at the bits to discuss a matchup because I felt like every all season just takes a little bit longer to get to the NFL season. But what is your initial thoughts when you just look at everything that the Eagles have brought in, new coaching staff, new team, how it kind of came together this offseason in front of our eyes, going against another team who, you know, had Julio Jones for 10 years, he's gone. New coaching staff for them backstage. Gate was talking about the defensive coordinator, Dean P, for the Falcons and what he likes to do. It might ruffle some feathers against Jalen Hurts in the offense if he sends as many blitzes as he's supposedly going to. What is your take on that, Gate?
It's going to be it'll be an interesting setup here, kind of like a game of chess. You've heard it said before, but I really want to see how Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen respond to what Dean Pease is going to do. In terms of the personnel, guys, we have the better personnel than they do. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I will say this, man, Dean Pease has been in the league for a long time, man. He started coaching high school back in the early 70s and before we were even born. He's been a part of New England. He's been a part of Baltimore. He's been a part of Tennessee. Now he's with Atlanta. The guy, even in college, he coached under Steve Belichick, so Bill Belichick's father. He coached under Lou Holtz and Nick Saban. So, I mean, this dude has an impressive resume coming in. And this man believes in showing you one thing pre-snap, another thing post-snap. He's going to bring pressure. He's going to try to confuse young quarterbacks, man. I heard a stat about him where, like, rookie quarterbacks, I don't think anyone's ever scored over, like, 15 points or something on them. I got to tell you guys, I know you could say that, well, Jalen Hurts isn't technically a rookie. It's happening today. I do think we're going to get over 15 points. I will say that.
Hey, Fresh, before you go, if you want to let everybody know, because I know we got a lot of get well, Fresh. If you just have anything to say on that, even if you just want to say thank you, you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely want to say thank you. I appreciate everybody. Last 2 weeks I was battling. First it was the COVID. Yeah, I got a situation, like a blood clot in my kidney. So, not in the vein, put in my kidney, not in my kidney. So, I'm fighting that right now. But what we do. Come on, man. We fighting Philly up in here. So I'm be all right, man. I appreciate everybody showing the love, though, man. I really do. Fighting this thing through, though, man. But that ain't gonna stop me from giving y'all the content and making sure that I tell you how I feel. And Mike, you want me to answer the same question? You got something else for me?
Nah, yeah, the same question. Just the newness of this team and what you heard about ATL. Like, what is your just general thoughts and going into this game? How you feeling?
It's really simple for me. People might not agree with it. I do think that Kayvon Wallace is going to start over Mike Epps, and to me, that's the key factor. Kayvon Wallace versus Kyle Pitts is the key factor because if you're not, I'm not going to say slow down, but if you're able to keep up with this guy, I mean, I'm not going to say stop. I'm going to say slow down. If you're able to keep up with this guy, slow Kyle Pitts down, that gives Darius Slay on the island with Calvin Ridley or whatever the case may be. Then you got Nelson on Gage or whatever the case may be. They got some receivers. Let's not try to act like they don't. But if you can, because we already know, like, I just watched some highlights on Julio Jones. We already know what this guy guy brought to the table in Atlanta and what he did to us damn near every time he played. You know what I mean? The touchdowns don't show it, but the yards always did. And he can kill you up and down the field. So they're kind of looking for that next guy to do that. And I think it is Kyle Pitts. If Kayvon Wallace is able to stick with this guy and handle to where though he don't have to get doubled all the time, I think that Atlanta's in for a rude awakening. I don't think their defense is as good. I do understand they do have a new defensive coordinator. Whatever. I mean, yeah, they do got a new defensive coordinator, but I don't think their defensive players, the personnel, is as good as it was back when we was playing them when they had the Vic Beasleys and all them kind of guys. So when you look at it, man, I think that we can take advantage of the linebackers, and I also think that we can take advantage of the corners, and that's scary when you got Devontae Smith, mastermind of footwork. You got Quez Watkins, speed second to none in the NFL, and you got Reagor, who I think is going to have a breakout season. So I mean, we gonna see, man. We only got like an hour or so, but I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm very excited to see number one Kayvon Wallace and what these wide receivers are going to do to the defense. I don't think that, like Gates, you could hit it on the head. Personnel is definitely way better than Atlanta, but that doesn't mean nothing if the scheme don't work. So I'm very curious to see what Jonathan and his scheme is going to be. Is it going to be a bend don't break, get Matt Ryan everything in between the 20s and then shut down in the red zone, or are you just going to attack Matt Ryan because he's a sitting duck back there? You know what I mean? So I'm very anxious to see what's going to happen with these situations. But the thing that I'm looking forward the most, and the thing that I think that is going to, I got us winning no matter what. But
Yes.
the matchup that I think is going to make it a smooth win is Kayvon Wallace versus Kyle Pitts. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things I'm looking at. I was asked this question on another podcast. Shout out to JC Eagles Talk. We just doing something late last night on Friday, I think, and I think Matt Ryan's still the most. You got to fear him the most. I'm not saying he's the quarterback we need to fear, but he's done seen a lot. And if Jonathan Gannon is going to come out trying to disguise it, if he's going to come out sending some weird weird blitzes from the linebacker, some safety, maybe a cornerback blitz, well, being this new, communication is key. And you can see the Eagles possibly give up a big play on lack of communication. It's one of them plays where you're like, everybody's looking around, not saying we're not prepared, but when you do throw in a bunch of disguises and stuff like that, if you're going to try to trick a veteran who's been in the league for 10 plus years, you might trick one of your own teammates more than you're tricking Matt Ryan. So we got to keep that in mind as well. We saw it was the third string players, but there was that one play against the Patriots where the guy was just sitting in the end zone eating his dinner and decided to catch the ball. That's how bad the communication was messed up. Now, these are going to be the starters. Big Play Slay's been in the league a while, same with Anthony Harris. So it might not be as bad, but we got to watch out for that. And I know we are going to want more blitzes and we're going to see them. But whenever you blitz, that's less coverage guys back there. So for those who are suspect in maybe a Nelson still or a Kayvon or a Marcus Epps, you are sacrificing that. But again, I'm just looking at this D line and how vicious it can be. Last year, our secondary was bad. And as we want to say the D line makes the secondary better, so does the secondary make the D line better. If quarterbacks got to hold the ball for a split second more, we could have been first in sacks instead of third, because a lot of quarterbacks' MO last year was get the ball out quick. When you got Michael Jaquette out there, it only takes a half a second to get open. When you got Nikel Roby-Coleman out there on the outside, it only takes but a half a second. So I was impressed with what the D-line did last year, and I'm looking to build off that. We're healthier. We have a deeper rotation. Guys are on one-year contracts. Do you want to get paid next year, or do you want to be in limbo? A lot of people are playing for a lot of things. Same with the coaching staff. A lot of people know, not saying anybody will be on a hot seat, but in the NFL, it's trending to if you don't produce quickly, your name gets put through the fire quickly. And I'm just ready to see the Eagles come out and execute. I'm expecting some bumps, but I do love the mix of young players with the veterans. I think we kept it really good. I don't think our veterans are over the hill, and I'm hoping that they respond, and then the young guys feed off that.
Hey, real fast. We got to spend too much time on this. I just want to get your guys' opinion. It's time to address the elephant in the room. Um, we all know, we all seen the congratulations to him. Jeremiah Mailata just signed a 4-year deal, 64 million. Um, not on the state, well, it is well deserved. Coming from not ever playing football a day in your life and being able to be the left star tackle now, he got to hold up to it. But the elephant in the room is what the hell are we going to do with Andre Dillard? Like, you drafted this guy to pay him more than that. You drafted this guy to protect Jalen Hurts, well, really Carson Wentz's blind spot, and Carson Wentz is playing today. So we are looking good with that first round pick. I ain't seen too many videos about that, but he is playing today. So that is good for the Eagles. But you did draft this guy number one. I mean, not number one, but in the first round to protect your quarterback. And it looks like he can't do none of that. They saying he's getting back down, throwing on his helmet. They saying that he can't hold a water pill to Jordan Mailata. And it's crazy that you go from you can grind Howie up about a first round pick, but then you got to give him kudos for seventh round pick. So it's the most evil thing to do. Like winning the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. It's just the most evil thing to do. You know what I mean? But I just want to get y'all let me know, and also y'all in the comments, y'all already know my fucking guys. Talking to y'all too. Y'all for the Better for a podcast. What y'all think we should do with Dillard?
Go ahead, Gate.
I mean, honestly, you got to find a trade partner. You got to find some way somehow. I don't think he gives you enough versatility to be a back-off offensive lineman. You can't just have a guy that can only play left tackle. Also, it's just not a good image with a guy that you spent a first-round pick on that even if he develops versatility to be a tackle-guard combo just solely on the left side, you already got a guy in Brett Toth that you're developing back there that can do that. It just, to me, it's going to be a bad imaging because, like, if you cut him, it looks bad. If you trade him for next to nothing, it looks bad. If you keep him on your roster and he never really touches the field, and he can only give you, the ability to play left tackle, it looks bad. But I guess the counterpoint to that would be is that Jordan Mailata, let me knock on wood before I even say this. Jordan Mailata's had back problems. And I think that's, how he is with trying to ensure the roster and doing that kind of stuff. So I think that's part of his rationalization for what he's doing, that we may need a left tackle because we do have a young man who has had some issues with his back in the past. He's a big guy. I mean, he's 350 pounds, 6'8". I mean, the dude should be a professional wrestler. But I mean, I guess that's how they're justifying it, Mike. I mean, me personally, I think that's a guy that as soon as someone suffers some kind of injury at the tackle position, you try to move him. That would be what I would do personally.
Yeah, he's the trade option is definitely going to be the best route. Just to save face, get something, and then just move on with the depth we have. I was interested. I didn't really hear nobody talk about the back problem because we saw him, and again, it feels like because of what Mailata did, the pancake and just the extra energy. I felt like he played longer, but he really only has 15 starts behind his back, under his belt, I should say, and 15 starts to get $64 million on a 4-year extension, 40 million guaranteed with the possibility to go up to 80. It's crazy, and I do want to salute him 100%. But we are paying him off of, what his potential could be because he had some good games. But I would say out of them 15 games, half of them he had some what you would say like a rookie-ish mistakes. I think he was using more of his brute strength and speed than actual being technical offensive line with the hand placement and things. And I think he took strides. We do got the best offensive line coach in the game, Jeff Stoutland. Let's not sugarcoat anything. What he's able to do with a boatload of late round picks. You know what I mean? Let's not forget, we'll give Kelsey a lot of credit.
Well,
but
let's rip the Band-Aid off too, Mike. Let's just address this. Mailata got injured that year with the back. If I'm not mistaken, and guys look it up because I could be wrong, it's a couple years ago. I believe it was towards the end of training camp, the end of the preseason.
I thought that
And
they
I'm
was
not
already.
saying it's a phantom injury. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah. I thought they was.
if you're going to have a phantom injury, it's a very opportune time for that to occur.
Yeah. Real quick, Kevo, definitely take Keenan Allen. I know he's going against the Washington defense, but almost every ball Herbert throws, he's going to get a lot. He's going to get you like 7 points off PPR. You know what I mean? He's going to have like 9, 10 receptions this game. But yeah, I just think it's well deserved. I believe in Jordan Mailata to the fullest, but it's a lot. It's 16 million. It's 16 million a year. I had this guy.
Real fast, do you believe in him because you have no other choice, or do you believe in him because you believe it's the right? No, no, no. I'm not even trying to throw no dispersion on Jordan Mailata, but it does kind of scare me that like it is substantial of what you just said, Gates. Like it's really not a lot of tape. There's really not a lot of starting time, and a lot of that was because of last year. To me, I thought you never should have pulled him back out when Jason Peters came back into the mix. You should have never pulled him back out. He was already in a zone. He was already in a groove. You should have let the kid keep playing and keep playing, and that's when you know. That's when you would have known more whether you should pay him or whatever the case may be. I don't know if they jumped the gun too much, but they really didn't pay him a lot. Especially left tackles get paid a lot more. You know what I mean? But
I think he's like right there around top 10 paid left tackle. I know
left tackles.
I know I don't know all of them, but I know I had somebody on who looked it up while we were live. Uh the 11th highest paid left tackle is making 14 million. So 14 million a year for the 11th highest paid. It's not true. So can you look it up real
Well,
quick?
I got you guys. My bad. I had it on mute. So Trent Williams got 138 million, 23 million a year on average total guarantees, but his total guarantees were only 45 million out of 138 total value. So I mean that is something to kind of look into with only 40 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mailata got more guaranteed.
Yeah. But
Although he doesn't have his yearly salary isn't as high.
yeah. So but can you figure out where he ranks in all 32 left tackles?
Absolutely.
I
So
think
here they are, guys. So all right, and this just tells you how much left tackles make. Trent Williams makes 23 million and 10,000. 23 million for Bakatari, the guy from the Packers. I have no clue how to say that dude's name.
Who is
Tunzel's
out?
getting Tunzel's getting 22 million. Stanley from the Ravens is getting 19.7 million a year. Colton Miller's 18 million average per year. Garrett Bowles from the Broncos is 17 million, and then Tyler Lewan from the Titans is at 16 million. I think that's about where Mailata would enter the picture.
Well, yes, 64 divided by 4 is 16.
5, 6. So you were talking he'd be about the 7th, 8th highest paid left tackle.
There you go. So we paid him top 10 left tackle money.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I was only going off what, and I don't know. Again, he said the 11th highest paid left tackle was 14 million, and he was looking it up. So I just took his word for it. He did it on the show. So I'm thinking,
yeah,
he top 10, 16 million. And again, that's all for 15 games. And I believe in him. If I had to guess, and one of the reasons I believe in him is because the trajectory went up. Every game he played, he improved. It was just a big improvement fast once we got him on the field. Hey, if he can be that guy for the next 4 years, I ain't mad. Listen, we take care of, you got to take care of left tackles. It's just no if, and, or buts. If you don't take care of them, somebody else will.
Jock Talk and somebody else said it earlier, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep up. The chat comes kind of fast for us. King Swag. You guys hit the nail on the head. It's about 40 million, 40.8 million or so is what he's got guaranteed. So he's right up there with the overall guaranteed money with the big name guys.
Yeah, but as you said, 40 million guaranteed. So his guaranteed is up there, probably like you said, top 3, top 2, top 1, top 3-ish. But the 64, if you divide 64 by 4, it's 16 million. And it's like I said, maybe he even took even bigger strides in camp. How he does try to get to this stuff quickly.
And I do think that the camp is what really got him paid. This camp right here, he must have took some hell, because we haven't really seen him on the field like that. We really didn't see any starters on the field like that. But he must have took some strides because I don't got how we just paying this guy if he look like total garbage out there.
Yeah.
So man, I like I'm leaning towards that it's going to pan out. If I had to go 100% in between, I mean not in between, I would probably go 70-30. That I do think that it's going to work out. Um, but once again, man, we got a guy now. We got a guy first round pick to where though you can't really put him at guard. He's not nimble enough to be at guard.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna have him at a backup? And now when you pay this guy, now his value just went down even more. It's like, well, why are we giving you such and such for a guy that you really don't want because you just paid your other guy? Now that's not saying everybody don't got a Jordan Mailata. See what I'm saying? So that's not saying you can't get anything for him, but you got to get something for this dude. His time in Philadelphia is just over. If his confidence wasn't shot before, it damn sure is now. You got a guy that never played football take your spot and get paid. Yeah, you got to.
You
You got
got
to.
to
Mm-hmm.
go.
So how y'all feel about Hurts today, man?
Big test. I think this is a huge test for Jalen Hurts. I do. It's not because, like I said, the personnel in Atlanta is not. It's not the best we're going to face all year. But we have a veteran defensive coordinator that is a master of manipulating disguises. And this is going to tell us a lot about what they've been working with Jalen Hurts on over the summer and in the training camp. And, can he do it or not? Can he play on schedule? I mean, is he going to be able to sync his, he's going to be able to sync his drops up to the receiver's routes. He's going to be able to do those things that we talked about. And I think this game's going to tell us a lot because I have I have this small glimmer in me that thinks like he's going to come out here and he's going to nail it. Like I just have a feeling, man, that if he wasn't showing it at all, I have a feeling this coaching staff would have told Howie, dude's not playing. So he must have shown it. That's what I'm thinking. Is he must have shown enough for them to say we can develop him throughout the year. So I think this is a major test for Jalen Hurts. And I feel like because the scheme will be good that he's facing, but the personnel's not going to be the greatest. I feel like our guys are going to win. They're going to win in their routes, and I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have a pretty big game. That's my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think he's going to ball out. It's going to be interesting just because of the whole Jalen Hurts narrative. And, people are going to, when he had that first great game against, a good enough game to get the W against the Saints, and then he followed it up with the Cardinals. Everybody was there, and then one bad game, a lot of people fell off. So this is going to be huge just for, the general support for him around Philly. My thing is this. I agree with you, Gate. They're going to throw a lot of different looks at him. So it's going to test him as a reader of the game of football, being able to sit back and say, okay, who's coming? Where's the mic? Identify this. Maybe the number changes. Who knows? Plays a part. Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
But I want to. As it's the perfect test for him to read defenses, it's really the best for him to let loose. I don't believe in the secondary of the Atlanta Falcons. They did get some veteran help at safety with Deron Harmon and Eric Harris, probably better than the injury-prone guys they had last year. Deion Jones is still a problem whenever he's healthy. He's just normally not healthy in the middle of the season. We'll get him week 1. So we got to watch him being that guy in the middle. But they were 23rd in sacks and they were 24th in pressures. So I want to see Jalen win from the pocket again, unless they just come with wildly crazy blitzes. But again, when you blitz, you have less cover guys. I don't believe in the guys back there covering. And if you put less back there, I want Jalen to say, okay, boom, hot route, Devontae. Ooh, boom, hot route, Quez. Ooh, there's Goddard in the flats. Boom, thank you. Keep blitzing me because I'm going to pick you apart. When we see statues back there like Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, and them guys, you're like, blitz them, it's easy. But these guys are statues, as you saw in the Cowboys game. They sent that all-out blitz on Tom Brady. Off his back foot, he had Gronk wide open. Why? Because Gronk blocked for a second,
That wasn't
and
even
they
that
blitzed
wasn't
everybody.
even a play though. That wasn't. They got that chemistry. That wasn't even a play.
Correct. But there's a lot of plays where you have your tight end, you block for a second and go
Yeah,
out. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But it's just about when you send blitzes, there's going to be one-on-ones, and if you send the wrong blitz or the wrongly timed blitz, there might even be a wide open guy. So it's up to Jalen to see that. You know, whenever you see a replay and a cornerback blitz happens, boom, quarterback gets sacked, and they do the replay. A guy was open on the opposite side. It's all about just knowing where you need to get the ball out quickly. Sirianni preached that, and I hope Dean P does send some blitzes because I want to come out of this game with the dub and being able to toot Jalen's horn the way I want to. Pause.
So just real quick, guys, we got people chiming in on inactives. A few people put in the comment section, guys. It's Landon Dickerson, Mac McCain, Rodney McLeod, Gardner Minshew, Davion Taylor. Just a couple of notes here, guys. Gardner Minshew doesn't know enough of the offense yet to be active for a game. Maybe next week, maybe not. Sometimes, you got to remember how late he was acquired coming in here. So, I mean, you got to think legitimately how much can he help you right now. Mac McCain, another guy that was just acquired. It's going to take time for him to learn it. I want to point out one thing about Mac McCain because I hear other people talking about like famous people. Guys, Mac McCain is Franklin McCain. And the reason he's not called Franklin is because his grandfather is the Franklin McCain from North Carolina A&T University, who was part of the Greensboro Four. He was one of the first people who got the national acclaim for basically launching the sit-in movements. That's why he goes by Mac, guys. I see that coming out from a few people, and they didn't quite understand why he goes by Mac instead of Franklin. But he goes by Mac because of that reason. I mean, imagine if you had to walk around with the same name as your grandfather, and that was the legacy you had to live up to.
Yeah, stuff.
So we got a few guys that, injury. You go, guy, recently.
You good, Fresh?
Yeah. No, I was just going to get my thoughts on Hurts. But, go ahead. You still talking about the inactive?
Yeah, no. The other guys are most of the other guys are injury things. We got two guys, like I said. You got Mac McCain, you got Gardner Minshew, who just really don't know the offense yet. Then you got injury concerns with Dickerson, McLeod, and Davion Taylor. Those are your other three inactives. Those guys I still think are coming back from injury. They didn't want to IR them or put them on the PUP list because they probably see them coming back before 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. I mean, I'm kind of going to piggyback off of what you both said. To me, I think both. Well, no, Mike. I think you just brought up the Dallas game. Um, to me, that's what you got to do. You got to take what the defense gives you. You coming in, forget what all the narratives, forget all the bull crap because when you look at it, right, they saying that had a great game, which he did, but he let his playmakers make plays. Do you know that he threw over 35, over 35, not percent, but over 35 of his passes with 10 yards or less? I'm talking about throw to the player. That's because they got their players in space, which we have those players now. We have the speed. We have the guys with footwork. We have the shifty guys. Get the football to your playmakers and let them go. Let them break a tackle here. If you break a tackle on some of these defenses, I'm not too sure on the defense that we're facing. But if this one-on-one, if you break a tackle, you're at least getting 10 more yards. You're at least getting 10 more yards until the next guy is there. Especially if things are spread out. And if you tap all three levels, if you tap the linebacker level, if you tap the cornerback level, if you tap the safety level, that spreads everything out. See what I'm saying? So to me, I think the play calling should help a whole lot. It always should. And not only that, just getting your guys in space, getting them to a situation to where though they can get the football, and that helps a quarterback. And we have to not turn the football over. Like we're going to Atlanta. Let's not forget that. You cannot give this crowd, you cannot give this team any more motivation. Like I don't know how the crowd was in Atlanta last year, but it's going to be full today. The crowd is back, and they're looking for anything to cheer about. They're looking for anything to look at us like, all right, now because let's keep it real. We are not good at going up to Atlanta. When
I
Atlanta
would
comes,
agree.
when Atlanta comes here, all right, it's a different story. But we ain't good going up to that dome for some reason, and it's time that we need to change that. We change that by limiting the turnovers, by getting good special teams play, helping your
Mhm.
quarterback out, and the defense. Once again, I don't know if they're going to play. I can't wait to see what kind of defense they're going to play. You know what I mean? Because I still don't know. I mean, you got Jonathan Gannon throwing hits. He's saying this, he's saying that. He's covered threes and all these kind of stuff. Cool. I
Yeah.
still don't know what the hell kind of defense we running. And I'm very, very intrigued to see that. And I'm very, very intrigued to see how Nick Sirianni is going to get these guys in space and just let the playmakers make plays. Jalen Hurts shouldn't have to do too much. Like when you really look at it, Dak Prescott really didn't have to do too much. Tom Brady really didn't have to do too much until it came down to those critical moments where they had to get them field goals. And that's what those veteran guys does. Jalen Hurts can do those things, but he's not a veteran guy yet. You know what I mean? But that's not saying he
Mhm.
can't do that's not saying he can't do them. But the reason I'm saying that is to say this. The game, when you look at it, the game for them was easy. They got kept clean. I think it was only one sack in the whole game. Dak
Hmm.
Prescott got sacked one time. Tom Brady didn't get sacked, and the one that Dak Prescott got sacked, that was really on him. He tried to outrun the linebacker, and he hunted him down. So when you look at it, they kept their quarterback clean. They got the football out of their hand. They got the football out of their hands fast, and that's what you need to do in the NFL. I don't care what team you are on. These defensive linemen are getting faster and faster and shifting every single year. You can't play with these dudes, man. Get the football out of his hands and let them play make plays. Go ahead, Joe.
Nah, I think you said it perfectly. Dak throw 30 something passes under 10 yards. CD Lamb came out of college first in yards after the catch, but guess who came in second in that draft? Jalen Reagor. This is not me trying to toot his horn in the sense that he's going to break out this season, but I do look at the kid and I see a different mindset. I see a different demeanor, and it's not about that anymore. We're about to see it in a couple hours, so let's see. But when you look at what CD Lamb did on the ground when the ball was in his hand, 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, is why he was first. But Jalen Reagor was second. And I think last year we used Jalen Reagor wrong. We all say that, but I just think that we did too many. We were too worried about attacking the deep area of the field. We did way too much of that. In Jalen Hurts' couple starts, he was top 5 or top 7 in deep ball throws. I'm not saying deep balls that were connected, but air yards, just throwing the ball downfield. And when you have a bad offensive line, barely any wide receivers because Alshon was back and yowzer, you know. When you have no offensive line, a brand new quarterback who's a rookie with COVID, no offseason, the drama that filled us, and no wide receivers, why are you throwing the ball down the field as much as you are? You don't got the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers. You don't got Atlanta's wide receivers. So it was stupid to do that. So, the 52% completion percentage came from just chucking the ball. Too many throwaways, too many chucks down the field that we couldn't complete. We couldn't complete. I don't think that's going to be shown this season at all. And it starts in ATL. And these guys, if Dean P decides to blitz, which it's not if, it's when he decides to blitz, as Fresh said, get the ball out to Devontae. If one tackle is broken, you're not going to see a guy for 15 yards. That's the worst part of a blitz. Because,
Mhm.
yeah, sometimes you might miss coverage and there might not be nobody on him. That's the worst. But when the ball is in the wide receiver or a Miles Sanders' hand, there's only one guy. You break that, it's could with the speed we got. Miles Sanders got some burners. Quez got some burners. Nobody talks about Devontae's speed because he's just that type of receiver who can do a boatload of things. Reagor, he's still fast, nifty with the ball in his hand. So we have a squad that if you make one mistake, the playmakers will make you pay. It's up to, will Jalen Hurts be able to see it and get the ball out of his hand fast enough? Because when you are facing a blitz, you have to be smart. You have to be smart. Tom Brady not fast. Peyton Manning was never fast. Drew Brees was never fast. And Matt Ryan ain't fast. But they get the ball to their hand fast in them situations. And there's no DB. I'm like, dang, I'm scared if AJ Terrell's pressing up. Take advantage.
I think you're hitting on a few points here, Mike, that I think are important. Number one, we look at pressure and we look at the performance of the quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks, unfortunately, they're going to take the brunt of the blame on those things because we only see their mistakes, and a lot of analysts don't focus on the release of the wide receiver. They don't focus on the play call necessarily from your coordinators and from your coach. And a lot of that has to do with okay, can these guys separate if they come press on them? Can our wide receivers get off the line of scrimmage if they press them? And then the other part of that is what are the outlets that are going to be built in? What are the reads, those quick outlets that'll be built in for Jalen Hurts when he's facing pressure? Like, what kind of creativity can Nick Sirianni and Steichen put together to give him really quick, easy looks against pressure and to beat these guys, get the ball into playmakers' hands and let those playmakers make plays with the football? I mean, I think that's a major part of it that, like I said, I've been so let down, Mike. I don't even want to say the words because I've been saying it for 2 years now. When are they going to use 2-back sets, bro? Because I've been calling for it now for 2 years. It's going on my third year trying to call on this. I feel like we're going to see it, but I don't want to get my hopes up, man, and come back here post game and be like, yo, they ain't do it.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see Gates, but not how you want it. I don't think it's going to be like the 22 or none of that. I think they're just going to use Gainwell in the slot. So you're going to have 2 running backs on the field, but he's going to be in the slot, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you brought that up because this is another situation where though I got a problem with. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I had not been able to make a video because of my current situation about it. But when I heard it, it made no sense to me. You get rid of Jason Huntley. You know what I mean? Elijah Holyfield is nowhere to be found. And you got Jordan Howard on the practice squad. So your 3 running backs that you are starting today with going against the Atlanta Falcons are Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell. To me, that's not enough. You need a power back. You need somebody in there that's going to say, remember the game, I want to say it was against the LA now, but they wasn't LA then. It was San Diego Chargers. Remember the game, LeGarrette Blount took the ball 3 minutes, and they didn't get the freaking ball back. You need that kind of back in the NFL to where as though we're going to just ride this guy, pause, but we're going to make sure that he has the ball. We put our big package in. You know what I mean? We put our big linemen in, and we just take over the freaking game. And to me, we don't have that back that's going to do that. I love Miles Sanders, but he's not that kind of guy. I don't understand how you don't have Jordan Howard on his active roster. To me, that makes no sense.
The downfall of Jordan Howard was crazy since he came here. I don't understand why. I don't understand. I don't know if it's really something wrong with him, but I agree with Fresh 100%. But it's crazy. This dude went from second to Ezekiel Elliott in the 3 years that they were all, from when they got into the league. You count everybody's stats then. He went from second to Zeke to coming to us looking good. And then ever since that shoulder stinger thing, he couldn't play for the Eagles. He couldn't even get on the roster for Miami. He gets back, and we think it's just Doug Peterson, and then he doesn't make the team this year. How?
Mike, he's still week to week, bro.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. But all right. So if it's not going to, even if it's not going to be Howard, like what's going on with Holyfield? You know what I mean? Like, can you get this guy a chance, Chris?
He got picked up, I think, the Ravens. Yeah.
The Ravens took him?
I think so. Yeah.
And watch what's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing with Raheem Mostert. We got a guy, and he's on the team, and he has potential, and you do nothing with him. I'm trying to tell you, man, like, when you watch this kid, I think he played for Georgia, right? Played for Georgia.
Yeah.
The kid played for Georgia, and he wasn't no slouch there. I just don't understand why the kid didn't never get any. He didn't get no opportunities, like none at all. Like to me, man, that's what the organization be failing sometimes is not letting these guys at least get an opportunity, and you keep on running with these older guys, and you don't know what you have in game situations. Because let's keep it real, even though the guy is not here, it's a reason that he's not here to me. And I'm talking about Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham is not a good practice guy. He's not a good practice player. He never really practiced good before he came to us, and he didn't practice good when he was here. But when he got on the field and it was game time, it was time to ball, he showed up. And even now he's cut. I mean, wide receivers, I still wouldn't have took JJ take the right side over him. I don't understand that. But second round pick, whatever. Um, I still understand because his practice is probably trash. But when you give the guy opportunity, you seen what happened last year. He was him and it was somebody him and a couple other people was the only bright spots that we had last year. On the whole team. So to me, man, it's about chances. And Elijah Holyfield been on this team going on 4 years. We're not on this team anymore. And he had not one chance. And watch, something's going to happen in Baltimore. They already down like 4 running backs.
Yeah,
It's
I feel
going to be
bad
one.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I
It's
think they
going to be
could have
one.
called up a fourth. I think they should have.
I just don't get it, man. I don't think to me. I understand. I like Gainwell a lot. I like Boston Scott. I like Miles Sanders. But to me, that's not your three running back combination that you need.
I hear you. So let's get into some predictions. I know we still got about 18 to 20 minutes before we get up off here. We all got to get ourselves situated for the game and stuff. Let me ask you guys. Let's do a little bit. Fresh is like, I'm not doing
I got to be done but lay here.
nothing. I hear you, man. Get some room service, my guy. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
saw you already.
they don't do that now with this COVID stuff. I can't even order food, man. I got to sit here and eat peaches all
Yeah.
day, man. Want some peaches?
Yeah. So Mad
That's
Hatter, Elijah Holyfield is no longer with the Eagles. You're wrong on that one, buddy. About last week, sometime he worked out with the Ravens. I don't know if they extended him a contract, but he's not with the Eagles anymore.
so look.
Rio, yes, Quez is starting. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. Nah, you're good. You're good. So real quick, let's look at let's do this what we did all year last year and name our offensive player and our defensive player that's gonna just rise up. I should say rise up, no pun intended, because that's Atlanta Falcons slogan. Let's talk about one offense and it is rise up, one offense and one defensive player to really come out week one and set the tone. Just be like, wow, that's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh, you want to go first?
I mean, offense is easy to me. It's Devontae Smith. To me, it's not even a debate. I mean, you can talk about other guys, but this the footwork, man. And I said this about Justin Jefferson last year. It's the footwork and finding a way to get open, man. Like even on during the preseason game, and I think he dropped two of the passes, but you just see the separation that he causes, and it's scary. It's real scary. So I'm gonna go with Smith. Defense. I already told y'all my defensive guy, man. It's Kayvon Wallace. He has to be able to stick with Kyle Pitts. He has to be able to make it easier on a guy like Darius Slay and Steven Nelson. So the 1-2 guys.
All right, so Fresh got Kayvon Wallace coming in and making some big plays, and Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner, going against that soft defense in ATL. It's time to cook up. Gates gonna go next, but everybody in the chat, let me know. It don't gotta be the best player on offense, but somebody that you need to see something from week one against Atlanta. One offense, one defense. Let us know in the chat. Go ahead, Gate.
I mean, the obvious answer is Jalen Hurts, but I'm not going to go with that one. Miles Sanders, man. They didn't activate Jordan Howard up. Okay. You got Miles Sanders, who right now is by most analysts' accounts are saying he's a first and second down running back that needs a lot of work to become a 3-down running back. So he needs to show us that he can pick up pass pro. He can keep Jalen Hurts upright. He needs to show that he can catch the ball, right? That it's not a physical thing with him, man. It's something mentally with him in catching the football. I mean, the simple facts are if you look over Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni's offense in Indianapolis, they've targeted running backs the 5th highest in the NFL. So clearly that's going to be a very big part of this offense. And it's going to be really hard to keep a guy like Miles Sanders, who's talented. The talent level's there. It's going to be hard if he can't pick up and pass pro, and if he can't catch the ball and be a receiving option. It's going to be really tough for him to be a 3-down back in Philadelphia, to be quite honest. Like, I think that's when you're going to start seeing them start calling up Jordan Howard to give you the pass pro, give you the short yardage stuff. I think that's what you'll see happen if that occurs. But it looks like he's going to get a shot today. I think it's a big day for him offensively. That he's going to have to show a lot. Defensively, I don't know who's starting. I don't know if they announced if it was Epps that was getting the start, or if it's going to be Kavon Wallace. I don't know yet who's going to start out there. But the secondary, man, the secondary to me is what I want to see. I want to see, do we have something in Nelson, Maddox, and Slay? I want to see, do we have any answers if Rodney McLeod isn't the same coming back? Because that's a big wrinkle here. If Rodney McLeod's knee is never the same again, we could be in a lot of trouble at safety. Outside of that, guys, it's all schematic for me defensively, what I'm looking for. How often are we going to play over versus under fronts? How often are we going to play even versus odd fronts? So are we going to see this diverse alignment defensively that we heard about? How much, what's the pressure going to look like? How often are we going to manufacture pressure as opposed to just trying to straight up win the matchups the way Jim Schwartz used to? What about post and pre-snap disguise stuff? To me, it's more schematic outside of that than anything. But the secondary, to me, I think that's a big one for me personally.
Yeah. So good one from all who picked. And Devontae was definitely on my radar. But on the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to say Jalen Reagor, for the simple fact that, we're asking a lot from Devontae and Quez. Devontae being the true rookie, Quez not really being counted on a lot last year. I think Jalen Reagor has the most to prove. Just to solidify that first round pick status, all the hoopla that's been around him. And again, it's hard to get stuff from press conferences, but I really do think this man, I saw what he did, the 2 one-handed catches. I don't need to see that. I just need to see consistency. There was a couple plays in the Pittsburgh game where I just like the footwork. I like the aggressiveness, and I want to see Jalen Reagor break out. If he can be a good receiver, it's sad that I have more. I mean, I have more confidence in Devontae, but if you get Reagor to come up and be what we think he can be, then it's just gonna uplift the Quez's and the Devontaes in the tight end game, and it's gonna make it easier for Hurts. So I'm gonna go Jalen Reagor on offense. Come out and say, "Dang." You know what I mean? I want to see a couple yak plays, as Philly Fresh said, a couple break tackles. And then on the defensive side, I have a lot of things I want to talk about, but I don't know who I'm going to pick. Hargrave, Ken, Fletch said. They asked Fletch, what's different about Hargrave, who had one of the best camps this season that got really overlooked? And all Fletch didn't say he got better in this, got better in that. He just said he's healthy. He's healthy. That's why he looked this good. This is why the Eagles paid him that big bread. He had to get used to the new scheme, 3-4-4-3 nose, switching from a nose. But I got to go Eric Wilson just because we talk about the linebacking core being the weakest link, right? We are a little satisfied with Alex Singleton being that just hustle guy. We wanted to see what Davion Taylor has. But other than that, we're really still weakest at linebacker. But we brought Eric Wilson to come in and try to help that in the coverage sense. Not so much stopping the run, but when you stop the Y9 and you pinch the defensive line, I think that in itself is going to keep us to be a pretty good run defense. But if Eric Wilson can really shore up that middle on certain bracket schemes, if he's the under while someone else is the over, I think that pays dividends. He did have a couple picks last year, a couple sacks. I want to see how we use him. But if Eric Wilson could do that, because the Eagles got ate up over the middle. So I just want to see if Eric Wilson can be that guy. And I'm not going to write him off or sign his new check after week 1, but I do want to see something. And shout out to everybody in the chat, because y'all said some great guys as well. We saw a lot of the same people, a lot of difference. I love it. I love it. I love it. With that
Yeah.
being
I
said, I
love it.
also want to let you guys know.
Somebody said Josh Sweat and Dallas Goddard. I love them too.
Yeah.
I definitely love them too right there. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, this guy Philly Fresh was on Sweat in the off season of last year. We're not even talking about midway when you saw him doing the Sweat celebration when he had like 3 or 4 sacks early in the season. Fresh been on him since the off season of last year, which is pretty big. He kept saying watch, and then once we started watching, he was like, I told you. But it was all Fresh on that one. But I will say
So
this.
Rudy
I want to
Gard is healthy now, right?
say it again.
Derek Barnett is healthy now, right?
Yeah, I guess. I think
Actually, I don't know. I don't know about that because he had the shoulder issue.
shoulder.
Yeah.
So we don't even know if he's not on the inactive. So
Yeah,
he
no,
got to
he's
be.
active for the game. Yeah, he's active, but I don't know if he's 100% healthy. Incognito. If you catch my drift, it's a pirate life for me. That's how I'm watching the game in North Carolina. it's a pirate's life for me. Where there's a will, there's a way, guys. NFL streams. Something crack streams is one of them, and there's plenty of them.
Facts. Real quick, I do want to let you guys know we are live on 3 different channels. Right now, we have 282 people watching combinedly. Again, if you don't see where you're at, it's because we are live on 3 channels. It gives us the overall people watching, but we don't get to see where they're watching. So make sure, if you haven't, go check out Gate City Sports Channel, the cerebral NFL football content creator. Check out Philly Fresh, the freshest football content creator, and check out me, Philly Mike, who's just a guy.
Hey, Mike, before we jump off, though, I'm going to hit 2 questions here for everybody. I think all of us should answer it. First off, Jake Matthews against Brandon Graham the whole game. Do we really think that Jake Matthews can stand out there and slow down BG the entire game?
I don't think nobody can win on BG the entire game.
Yeah, I don't think that I think that their right tackle is very suspect to me, because it's not just BG, it's also Kerrigan. So you got 2 veteran guys who know how to win at the NFL level. He's going to get tested.
I be forgetting about Kerrigan sometimes, Joe.
Yeah.
I feel like this defensive line is going to be crazy, man. To me, it might. I made a video about this. Will it be better than last year's? And I mean, too early prediction, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna say, yeah, the rotation's gonna be there. The only person that you really missing is Malik Jackson. Everybody else came back and then they upgraded. You know what I mean? With a Kerrigan over what spot is Kerrigan taking? Who's playing that spot last year? I can't remember for some reason.
Washington.
Vinny Curry.
Oh no, Curry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Kerrigan is better than Vinny Curry, and it's not even a discussion. Love Vinny Curry, but it's not even a discussion. So and then you got Hargrave being healthy and playing in the 1 gap, not the 2 gap, means a lot. Man, this defensive line is going to be ferocious, man. There's a lot to it. And we're gonna see week 1 with a stable quarterback. They get a chance to go eat, man. If these cornerbacks, if these like you said earlier, Mike, if these cornerbacks can help this defensive line out by being able to stay with their guy, by having Matt Ryan go from his 1 progression to his 2, and hopefully then his 3. If they can do that, man, it's no limit what this defensive line can do, man. Because if you look at the tape last year, there's so many times, and I know you blamed it on, the situations of the corners. You blamed it on the Jaquette and all those kind of guys. But I don't care what kind of corner. I don't care who you are. If you are playing 10 yards back and the ball is 5 yards in or out, whatever the case may be, there's nobody that can stick that. Nobody can cover that ground. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't think Jonathan Gannon is playing that. Jonathan Gannon is an cornerback coach. I'm right? Jonathan Gann is the ex cornerback coach, right?
Yeah.
I don't got him. Yeah, I don't got him playing. I don't got him playing like that. I got him saying that's what got Jim Schwartz butt out of here. And not saying you gotta play press. Not saying you gotta play 1-on-1. Not saying you can't play zone or whatever the case may be. But just keep it tight and make sure everybody knows the position that they're supposed to be in. And when that ball goes in the air, everybody rallies to the football. We didn't have that the last 5, 6 years, and it's time to get that back. Go ahead, Joe.
Nah, I agree. And this is a good question too. Um, Mike Smith says, what's the run pass ratio today? I do want to say this before. I don't think Atlanta is that great against the run. I think they were the sixth best run defense in terms of yards per game last year.
Yeah.
I think it was more that they were like, bro, why would I run the ball when I could just go bombs over Baghdad on you guys? Regardless, they were the sixth best run defense when it comes to yards. But once you get past the top four, from 6 to like 12 is only like a couple yards different. You know what I mean? It's like real minimum. I'm just going off that. Make a little bit of these ATL fans who are lurking in here. I see you guys a little happy, but you're still losing. But yeah, what's the run pass ratio today? I'm ready to talk shit.
I like Anthony Bailey's prediction of 60-40. I think it's a sound number. If you go back to Doug's numbers last year, it was 62 to 38%. Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni were 56 to 44, split the difference. I'm going to say about 60-40.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fresh.
I mean, I'm close, but you know me, I gotta be different. So I'm gonna go 55-45.
Yeah. I kind of agree with the 60-42. I think Syria is going to want to run the ball.
It's kind of hard to disagree with that.
It's just perfect, man. It's just the perfect number. I mean, last year we were like 79-21. It was bad, 80 to 20%. Yo, we were running the ball for nothing.
Shoot, I think the first.
What's the running play again?
I think the first game we threw 62 times and ran the ball 15 against Washington. What? And we was up 17-0.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Like, yeah, you can't do it. These are the kind of things that you can't do as a head coach. You know what I mean? And I don't got Nick Siri doing nothing like that, man. So I do got him keeping the balance, and we do have to, which we really haven't talked about. We do have to understand that we do have a quarterback that does have legs also. So that's
Correct.
a threat in its own. That's a threat in its own. You know what I mean? And that's going to help the running backs out even more, because if you do the quarterback options and all that, sky should be the limit, man. Especially, I think this is a good test week one. Not a team that really nobody's scared of. You know what I mean? And we should be able to do the numbers on these things, on these guys. How you doing?
He's trying to mute it.
Go ahead,
Make sure he gets his Jello. He wants his Jello.
I don't eat Jello.
Hey, but yo, for real, hey, shout out to Fresh for coming through on where he's at. And like you said, for those who have been asking about him, he's just going through a couple things. He's gonna be tough. He's Philly tough, Philly Fresh tough, so he'll be all right. But shout out to all the love for Philly Fresh. Shout out to him for coming through. And again, I want to remind you, we always go an hour before. Last year we started these podcasts at 12. Or like 12, and we would run in, like we would get off like literally sometimes as they're kicking off. So
we were late a couple times. For real. I remember.
So what we're trying to do, we're going to try. So if you guys can keep this in your mind, we're going to try to start going live every Sunday, a couple hours earlier. So if we play at 1, we want to go at 11:15. If we play at 4, we'll probably go live, 2:15. If we play, so we want to go live pretty much 2 hours before, or an hour and 45 minutes before, so we can get off with at least 45 minutes to, do whatever we gotta do, say our prayers, do our little juju stuff that helps us get these W's, because it's trolling season. There's so many collabs going on with Eagles, Washington, Giants, and Cowboys, and they're talking their talk, we're talking our talk. ATL thinks they own us because they beat the Sixers. We got to get some revenge for the Sixers. You know what I mean?
Still on
I was
that.
thinking about that earlier.
Let's go, man.
We need this dub right here.
Yeah, we do.
So let me get you guys real quick before we jump off here, guys. Let me get you guys impression on Paul. Paul brought up a point earlier, and I'm gonna spin your question a little bit here. So Paul was talking about the running game, and I want to structure this about the Eagles' ability or inability to stop the run from what we saw in preseason. Now, look, we weren't running any kind of blitzes to counteract the running game, anything like that. So you got to take all that stuff with a grain of sand, no doubt about it. But I do want to ask you guys, we know what Arthur Smith did in Tennessee. Now, mind you, no matter what he does in Atlanta, there's a certain someone who's not walking through that door as their running back. Okay, so I'm not saying to count that too much. But he didn't target running backs. They were 32nd in the league in terms of targets the running backs Tennessee was last year, right? But I know they love to play a power running game. They love to use 2 tight end sets that they'll bring in a fullback, so they'll play some 2-back set stuff. They'll get more traditional, and they'll try to run at us. Does it concern you guys that because of their lack of personnel, they might try to stick it on the ground, try to run it right at us, try to control tempo, try to control clock to keep this thing close enough to try to sneak one away from us? Is that a concern for either of you guys?
No, because coming in, I thought that was going to be the plan, and I think that the coaches need to understand that they know that they're basically inferior when it comes to talent or whatever the case may be, and they feel as though that they probably should try to be the team, the aggressive team, and try to win it a different way. No finesse, just try to go straight ahead. And this is where Eric Wilson comes in. You know what I mean? He has to be that guy that stops that run. You know what I mean? We already know what the defensive line is supposed to do. We get it. But it's a reason that you got linebackers. The linebackers, they stick the running backs. You know what I mean? You put your nose down there and you stop the run up. You know what I mean? So to me, you gotta understand, if you are Jonathan Gannon and if you are Nick Sirianni, that this team is not a really finesse team anymore. And the way that they might try to beat us is to try to bully us, and you can't let that happen. But
yeah, Wayne Gallman, lethal talent 24. That's a good point. I don't know how much they trust Wayne Gallman, but man, he was decent for the Giants, man. He really was. And he's a physical back, and he can catch the ball a little bit. So I mean, that's a good point there. But that would be my fear, is that you get a guy like that, if they start getting a little momentum through the running game, they're going to try to play action the crap out of us. That's my fear there. But yeah, I mean, I think Reese hit it on the head a little bit, which is the linebackers got to flow and shut it down.
yeah, everybody do your job. Do your freaking job. And we should come out with the victorious one. So we know Mike. Shout out to Mike. We know he got a play-by-play coming up, so we're gonna be getting up out of here, man. Let Mike set up. It look like he's falling asleep on us anyway.
Yeah.
So shout out to all of y'all.
I was listening to a voicemail, so I had my thing on mute real quick. It was an important voicemail. I had to listen to it. So I was hoping y'all weren't calling upon me. I wasn't sleeping. I was just trying to listen to both of you.
You're good.
He's messing with you. But yeah, so it's about that time. Any last things, man? Are we doing the post game?
I'm down for it if you're good.
Yeah, I'll text you guys. The voicemail just kind of gave me something that might throw a wrench into it. That I might have to make some moves, but I'm gonna find out.
One last update, guys. One last update. Someone said in the comment section they are correct. Wayne Gallman actually is inactive, so that is one headache we don't have to worry about.
There you go.
There you go. Right?
With that being said, go ahead.
About the running back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to worry
He
about Mike Davis.
was with the Giants, right? Talking about dudes with the Giants.
Yeah, he was with the Giants last year.
Okay. Yeah,
I Shine said it.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, man.
So,
you already know. I had this one anyway, but that definitely make it better.
Facts. With that being said, this is Battle Bird Podcast, episode 1 of the 2021 NFL season, week 1. We're going to just quickly say our predictions before we get up out of here. I did forget about that. We'll start with, I'll go first this time because I always go last. I got the Eagles winning week 1, 28-23. That is my score prediction, 28-23 Philly. Go ahead, Gate.
All right, I'm going to say this is a tough game for the Eagles. We always struggle down in Atlanta, but we're going to do this 17 times, and I'm going to give you the same answer 17 times. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm going to say, look, this game is always ridiculously close. It's always some weird way it comes down to the end. I'm going to say 21-20 Philly. I'm going to say Gannon and the defense comes up with some late game turnover. Jalen Hurts and the offense takes it down, punches it in. Game over, Eagles win.
I like it. Fresh. Go ahead.
Just like Gates said, every time we play this team, there's always some weird behind score. So I'm going to go 23-19 Eagles.
Oof. I like it. Maybe we get an onside kick because, oh, no, Dan Quinn's not there no more. Just kidding.
He's going to melt down.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody dropping their score prediction. We should have did this a little bit earlier. That's my fault. You know, we still on a little bit of preseason time. We getting flipped over to the week 1 schedule. I like it. Listen, it's a different year, different era.
Before we jump off, can we troll the Cowboys about one thing? Only the Cowboys organization would be like, that head coach that had the complete meltdown that allowed us to win a game? Let's hire that dude to be our defensive coordinator.
I love it. Yes. And I can't wait for Dan Quinn to like spiral out because I think he is. I don't trust him anymore as just a D coordinator. We're gonna see. With that being said, week 1 of the Battlebirds podcast, we will be live every single Sunday or every time the Eagles play, if they play during the week, 2 hours before the game. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out Philly Fresh, type it in the search bar, check out Gate City Sports Channel, type it in the search bar, and the Philly Talk podcast. Till next time, y'all know what time it is.
Hey, Gates, real fast. That hat look good on you too, man.
Hey, man.
Just say.
Get that Philly Fresh merch, y'all. Go get that Philly Fresh merch, y'all.
Yes, sir. We out. Peace.